Tantor Audio, a division of Recorded Books, presents Yoga and Ayurveda, Self-Healing and Self-Realization by Dr. David Frawley. Narrated by Brion. Note: this book is not intended to treat, diagnose, or prescribe. The information contained herein is in no way to be considered as a substitute with a duly licensed healthcare professional. Publisher's note: this audiobook includes bonus material. Please visit Tantor.com and type Yoga and Ayurveda into the search box. Follow the link to the book's page. Then, under the Supplemental Content section, please enter the access code YOGA, and then click the Unlock button to access the bonus material. The code should be entered in all lowercase letters. All tables referenced in this audiobook can be found in the bonus material. Forward. I have come to think of my friend David Frawley as a Hindu pundit in a Western body. This is well captured by his spiritual name Vamadeva Shastri. In Sanskrit, a Shastrin, nominative Shastri, is a person learned in the Shastras, the scholastic textbooks. David Frawley's entire thinking and life revolve around Indic culture and spirituality, and whenever I ask him any questions about yoga, Ayurveda, or the Vedas, his knowledge, vijnana, and wisdom, jnana, invariably bubble forth like a refreshing spring. Since the early 1980s, he has made his insights into India's magnificent spiritual and medical traditions available to Western students through a series of publications. This new book highlights the close connection between yoga and Ayurveda, both of which are fundamental holistic disciplines. They intersect in the concept of somatic and psycho-spiritual wholeness. Yoga focuses on spiritual integration through self-transcendence, culminating in self-realization. Ayurveda focuses on psychosomatic integration through comprehensive health care, culminating in openness to self-transcendence and self-realization. One of the hallmarks of yoga is balance, and thus, practitioners of this ancient art and science must pay proper attention to both the body and the mind. Sometimes overzealous yoga enthusiasts seek to cultivate meditation and higher states of consciousness apart from the physical body, but the body is the ground for realizing enlightenment. If we don't take care of the body, it is likely to succumb to illness sooner or later. Remember, we all have our karmas. Read genetic program and external life situations to contend with. In yoga, illness is considered one of the obstacles to successful completion of the yogic process. If you question this, try meditating with a toothache or while feeling sick to your stomach. It can be done, of course, but it presupposes considerable skill and concentration. Somatic imbalances readily give rise to mental disturbances, and vice versa. Therefore, cultivating a strong, healthy body and training the mind should go hand in hand, and both pursuits should ideally be powered by a desire for self-realization. Both yoga and Ayurveda are enjoying immense popularity in the West at the moment, but both disciplines are also subject to considerable distortion. David Frawley's new book could not have been more timely. It offers a most valuable overview of the connecting points between yoga and Ayurveda and shows how both disciplines are relevant to contemporary spiritual practice. In particular, this book contains many helpful practical pointers, which will help you to understand your constitutional type in Ayurvedic terms. This, in turn, will assist you in choosing the right kind of yogic postural or meditation practice. The yogic path is intrinsically challenging, and wise practitioners welcome any information that will benefit them even a little bit. Thus, the typological knowledge of Ayurveda is one of the best-kept secrets of yoga. If you make little progress on the yogic path, it is perhaps because you are on the wrong track. Understanding your constitutional type is important, not only when determining your diet or course of medical treatment, but also when embarking on spiritual practice. All tracks are equally good and serviceable, but you must have the right axle width to fit on a given track and reach your destination smoothly and safely, or at all. If you have arrived at the understanding that life is a pilgrimage that ends, or really begins, with enlightenment or liberation, moksha, then you will find this book to be an indispensable guide. Georg Feuerstein, Ph.D., Director, Yoga Research Center, author of the Shambhala Encyclopedia of Yoga, the Shambhala Guide to Yoga Tantra, the Path of Ecstasy, etc. Preface. Yoga and Ayurveda are two closely related spiritual or sacred sciences rooted in the Vedic tradition of India. Ayurveda is the Vedic science of healing for both body and mind. Yoga is the Vedic science of self-realization that depends upon a well-functioning body and mind. Both disciplines develop together and have always been used together. Therefore, those who are interested in one would benefit from studying the other. However, most books on yoga in the West speak little of Ayurveda. Though all Ayurvedic books speak of yoga, so far there has been no single book on Ayurveda and yoga published in the West, hence the need of the present publication. Yoga and Ayurveda are far more than physical exercise or bodily healing systems such as we tend to view them today, however important these aspects may be. Both classical yoga and Ayurveda look to the whole human being, which is not only body, but mind and soul. Both address all our needs, from physical health and well-being to the unfoldment of our higher consciousness. Therefore, I have oriented this book to the broader view that would be called integral yoga and integral Ayurveda. This is traditionally called Pancha-kosha yoga and Pancha-kosha Ayurveda, meaning yoga and Ayurveda of the 5 sheaths, which refers to the physical body, prana, mind, intelligence, and soul, as well as our higher self. It is also defined as yoga and Ayurveda of the 3 bodies, physical, astral, and causal, or body, mind, and soul. Yoga and Ayurveda addresses our entire nature, our greater life as a spiritual and cosmic being. It examines the broader scope of Ayurveda, which includes not only physical health, but also mental health and preparation for the spiritual life. Similarly, it looks into the entire field of yoga, the science of Raja Yoga and its 8 limbs, from asana to meditation. While the present book does examine the subject of asana in one major chapter, a more thorough investigation of the topic is planned as a separate book on Ayurveda and asana. The book is meant for those who want to explore a deeper level of knowledge than what is usually described in introductory books on these subjects, which are commonly available. It discusses many details about the subtle and causal bodies and their energetics, including much information not previously in print in English. This includes topics such as the 7 Agnis, the 3 vital essences of prana, tejas, and ojas, the nadis and chakras, as well as practical methods to unfold these energies. It puts much emphasis on the 5 pranas because prana, the life force, is the main link between yoga and Ayurveda. The present book is designed to complement my last book in this field, Ayurveda and the Mind, which deals with the psychological aspects and the view of the mind in yoga and Ayurveda. Ayurveda and the Mind contains relevant information on mantra and other yogic practices that is not repeated in the present volume, and is helpful for those who want more information in these areas. Yoga and Ayurveda also interfaces with Tantric Yoga and the Wisdom of Goddesses, Spiritual Secrets of Ayurveda, which provides additional information on the subtle body and deity worship. My other books on Ayurveda, Ayurvedic Healing and the Yoga of Herbs with Dr. Vasant Lad, deal more with the outer and physical aspects of Ayurveda, but refer to yoga in places as well. Yoga and Ayurveda is divided into 3 sections. 1. The first section provides the background of Ayurveda and yoga, along with their related cosmological principles and worldviews, including an understanding of the doshas and gunas. 2. The second section examines the energetics of the 2 systems, emphasizing the subtle body and prana, including kundalini, the chakras, and nadis. 3. The third section shows their common practices from diet and herbs to asana, pranayama, mantra, and meditation, which enables us to apply the information given in the previous sections. Like my previous books, the present volume derives much from unpublished writings of Ganapati Muni, chief disciple of Ramana Maharshi, and a great yogi and Ayurvedic teacher as well. These works, passed on to me by Ganapati's disciple K. Natasan, have proved invaluable in unfolding the yogic secrets of the Vedas. The book also relies significantly on the works of Swami Yogeshwarananda. Several chapters derive from articles originally published in the excellent yoga magazine Yoga International, including those on pratyahara, prana, tejas and ojas, and the chakras. Dr. David Frawley, Vamadeva Shastri, Santa Fe, New Mexico, October 1998. Part 1. Background of Yoga and Ayurveda. Integral vision of the universe and the individual human being. 1. Yoga and Ayurveda, the sciences of self-realization and self-healing. Life, Ayu, is the combination, samyoga, of body, senses, mind, and reincarnating soul. Ayurveda is the most sacred science of life, beneficial to humans both in this world and the world beyond. Charaka Samhita, Sutrasthana, Volume 1, Chapter 42, Verse 34. Yoga and Ayurveda. Yoga is one of the most extraordinary spiritual sciences that mankind has ever discovered. It is like a gem of great proportions, containing many facets whose light can illuminate the whole of our lives with great meaning. Going back over 5,000 years, it is one of the few spiritual traditions that has maintained an unbroken development throughout history. Comprehending all aspects of the human being and the world of nature, it can unfold all the higher powers that are accessible to us both internally and externally. Yogic methods cover the entire field of our existence, from the physical, sensory, emotional, mental, and spiritual to the highest self-realization. It includes all methods of higher evolution in humanity, physical postures, ethical disciplines, breath control, sensory methods, affirmations and visualizations, prayer and mantra, and complex meditative disciplines. Yoga understands the nature and interrelationship of the physical, subtle, and formless universes into the boundless infinite beyond time and space, and shows us how these also exist within each human individual. Yoga is the fruit of the teachings of the Himalayan sages, going back to what yogis regard as the beginning of this particular world age or cycle of civilization some 10,000 years ago. It is said to carry on the traditions of earlier spiritually advanced teachings which present civilizations have forgotten. Yoga is a distillation of wisdom from the myriad of sages throughout the ages, the ongoing legacy of the spiritual urge of humanity, as adapted to the particular requirements of each age and each person. It is like a wide and luxurious banyan tree spreading out our higher potentials and giving them strength and nourishment. Like yoga, with which it has grown, Ayurveda possesses a long history with many layers, much diversity, and a continuous development that makes it relevant for all people and all times. Ayurveda is one of the most remarkable holistic medical systems in the world. It covers all aspects of health and well-being, physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual. It includes all methods of healing from diet, herbs, exercise, and lifestyle regimens to yogic practices and meditation. With its unique understanding of individual constitution, Ayurveda provides the insight for each person and each culture to create a way of life in harmony both with the world of nature and our higher self. It offers optimal health and development for all creatures by its profound understanding of natural law. Following in the footsteps of yoga, which already has a worldwide presence, Ayurveda is emerging as one of the most important global systems of mind-body medicine. It shows us how to understand the language of nature, the language of life, so that we can live in harmony with the greater universe, not evolving only for ourselves, but bringing benefit to all creatures. Ayurveda contains the secrets not only for healing the individual, but also for uplifting society, all creatures, and the planet itself. Yoga and Ayurveda are sister sciences that develop together and repeatedly influenced each other throughout history. They are integral parts of the great system of Vedic knowledge which states that all the universe is one self and that the key to cosmic knowledge lies within our own minds and hearts. As Vedic disciplines, Yoga and Ayurveda work together to enhance their great benefits on all levels. They can be integrated with related Vedic or yogic sciences of astrology, architecture, music, and language for an even broader approach. Yoga is first and foremost a science of self-realization. Its concern is spiritual practice, mainly through meditation, to take us beyond the sorrow and ignorance of the world. It teaches us how to move from our outer bodily and ego-bound identity to our immortal self that dwells within the heart. Yoga provides the key to all spiritual development, which in the Vedic sense is gaining knowledge of our true nature beyond time, space, death, and suffering. Ayurveda is primarily a science of self-healing, aimed at relieving the diseases of body and mind. This does not mean that Ayurveda is merely a method of personal healing which doesn't require help from therapists or doctors. In fact, Ayurveda says that medical practitioners are indispensable in dealing with the complexities of disease and the variabilities of health requirements. Ayurveda as self-healing means that it is concerned with restoring wholeness, with our inner self as its ultimate goal, which is spiritual healing. Ayurveda's concern is alleviating both bodily and mental diseases and promoting both physical and psychological well-being. Yet, the ultimate goal of classical Ayurveda, like classical yoga, is self-realization, the highest form of self-healing. Ayurveda shows us how to attain optimal health not for outer enjoyment, but to provide a wholesome foundation and sufficient energy to pursue the yogic quest. The link between yoga and Ayurveda is prana, or the life force. Yoga is the intelligence of prana seeking greater evolutionary transformations, while Ayurveda is its healing power, seeking to consolidate the life systems it has already developed. Together, Ayurveda and yoga afford a complete discipline, one which can transform our existence from the physical to the deepest spiritual levels of our being with extraordinary vitality and creativity on all levels. Yoga and Ayurveda in the West. Yoga is a common term in the Western world today, where yoga classes can be found in every city or neighborhood. Most people identify yoga with the physical postures or asanas that are the most evident side of the system. While yoga asanas can afford a good doorway into the vast temple of yoga, they are hardly the entire structure or its central deity. Eventually, most who look into yoga will come into contact with its broader and more spiritual practices, such as mantra and meditation. Ayurveda is similarly becoming known in the West today as a special system of natural medicine. There are Ayurvedic centers in most cities in the country. Ayurvedic herbs can be found at most health food stores. The idea of Ayurvedic constitutional types has been presented in a number of popular books and magazines. However, the physical side of Ayurvedic healing through diet and herbs is only part of the system. Its inner aspect, healing the subtle body and the mind, which includes yogic practices and meditation, is the other and perhaps more important half. A number of yoga centers offer Ayurvedic therapies, and the two sciences are generally studied together. However, many people who have been introduced to yoga from a physical model may not be fully aware of the importance of its Ayurvedic connection. This may include various yoga teachers and yoga therapists who may themselves have no Ayurvedic training. Traditionally, in India, yoga dealt with the spiritual side of life, what we have introduced as the path of self-realization. Ayurveda, on the other hand, dealt with both physical and mental diseases, as well as with the prescription of lifestyle regimens. Yoga as therapy or exercise was traditionally prescribed in an Ayurvedic context. Classical yoga therapy was Ayurvedic both in theory and in application. This fact should be borne in mind by those using yoga today for healing purposes. They should not ignore the potential benefits of adding Ayurvedic insights to yoga therapy. They should learn to understand the Ayurvedic effects of yogic practices and not merely try to define yogic healing in terms of modern medicine or modern psychology alone. The combined study of yoga and Ayurveda is of great importance for each discipline and for helping us understand the whole of life that both sciences address in such a profound manner. Restoring wholeness in body, mind, and spirit is what we are all seeking, both individually and collectively. 2. Dharma and Tattva, the universal philosophy of yoga and Ayurveda. Laud the fire, the seer, the truth of the Dharma in the sacred rite. The immortal fire serves the gods, so the eternal Dharmas are not violated. Rig Veda, Volume 1, Chapter 12, Verse 7, Volume 3, Chapter 3, Verse 1. The Way of Dharma. All the great spiritual and healing traditions of the Indian subcontinent are based upon the concept of Dharma, or natural law. Dharma is a Sanskrit word that refers to the laws of truth that govern the universe. Dharma is that which upholds things, a fundamental principle, and literally a pillar. Dharmas are the underlying principles that keep all things in harmony and sustain their higher growth and development. Such dharmic principles, like physical laws, must be the same for all beings. Dharma indicates the foundation of universal law on which we must base our actions for them to gain the support of the universe. Hinduism calls itself Sanatana Dharma, or the eternal Dharma, suggesting a tradition of natural law not limited by time, space, or person. Buddhism calls itself Buddha Dharma, the natural way of enlightenment. Yoga can be called dharmic spiritual practice, Yoga Dharma. Yoga is a dharmic approach to the spiritual life, which is the way of self-realization. It instructs us to follow our higher dharma, which is to give up outer seeking and to strive to know our true nature. All the methodologies of yoga are dharmic in nature, helping us harness natural law and the spiritual forces in nature to transform our consciousness from ignorance to enlightenment. Ayurveda can be called dharmic medicine. Ayurveda represents a dharmic approach to health and everyday living, natural healing based upon natural law, conscious healing following the laws of consciousness. Ayurveda is the science of health based upon dharmic principles, which seeks to uphold the Dharma both in treatment and in its lifestyle regimens. Dharmic living gives us health and happiness, putting us in contact with cosmic forces of beneficence. Adharmic living, life contrary to Dharma, brings pain and disharmony to all. A dharmic life is the basis of all Ayurvedic treatment and all Ayurvedic lifestyle regimens. Most psychological problems and emotional disorders are rooted in adharmic living, living out of harmony with the universe. Most physical diseases are based on it as well. The most important dharmic law is the law of karma. As we act, so must we experience the fruit of our actions, not only in this life, but in the future lives as well. There is an absolute justice in the universe, but this occurs through many incarnations and cannot be seen by a momentary look at human affairs. It is not a justice of outer rewards and punishments, but one of the development of consciousness. Dharmic action provides inner peace and happiness and allows us to pursue spiritual practice. Adharmic action constricts our consciousness and consigns us to darkness and turbulence of mind, though it may give us transient external gains. The most important ethical dharma, sometimes called the supreme dharma, is ahimsa, often translated as nonviolence. More accurately, it means non-harming, having an attitude of mind that does not wish injury to any creature, not merely for human beings, but for plants, animals, and the entire natural order. For it to be complete, ahimsa must extend not only to action, but also to speech and to thought. Ahimsa is the most important observance in the practice of yoga and the basis for mental peace, which is not possible if we harbor thoughts of harm for others. How can we sincerely engage in spiritual practices if we are engaged in actions that are violent, destructive, deceptive, or manipulative? Ahimsa is the basis of the Ayurvedic approach to health and the support of all real healing. Health and well-being arise from a state of mind and a lifestyle that does not project harm onto other creatures. Ahimsa is behind the Ayurvedic recommendation of a vegetarian diet, but it extends to all Ayurvedic healing prescriptions. Food should not be based upon cruelty. Food, after all, is a means of providing nourishment. What kind of nourishment can be derived from food that reflects not the energy of love, but that of exploitation? Our occupation or vocation in life should also follow an energy of love and not be harmful to other creatures. Unfortunately, modern culture is built upon competition and wasteful consumption in which there is great harm not only to other creatures, but to the planet itself. Above all, medicines should not be based upon cruelty. Modern medicine believes that by causing harm to other creatures, as in animal testing, we can gain benefits for healing people. Ayurveda states that this is a false logic. We cannot alleviate suffering for one creature by causing suffering to another more helpless. Suffering begets suffering. On the contrary, caring for other creatures benefits our own health, even if it means placing the greater good of all creatures above the good of our own particular species. We cannot triumph in life or wisdom at the expense of the world in which we live. Ahimsa is the main principle of mental health because it removes the basis for negative emotions to flourish in the mind. It is the main principle of social health because it cuts off the root of social conflict, which is violence stemming from hatred, anger, and resentment. Ahimsa, however, is not simply passivity or resignation. Sometimes we must act in a strong or decisive way to prevent harm from occurring, as in the action of a true warrior and defender of Dharma. To protect others is another aspect of ahimsa, not often properly understood. It is the basis of the Kshatriya Dharma, the Vedic way of the warrior or heroic spirit. For this reason, Ayurveda accepts strong therapies like radical detoxification measures, panchakarma, to eliminate disease-causing factors, or surgery to protect the life of a person. Both yoga and Ayurveda teach that we should pray or chant daily universal prayers for peace that project this power of nonviolence and its great healing energy. May all beings find happiness. May all be free of disease. May all see what is auspicious. May no one suffer. Om. Peace, peace, peace. Ayurveda shares the dharmic principles of yoga, the yamas and niyamas, which are important principles of right living that we will discuss under the paths of yoga. In addition to universal dharmas, each individual has his or her own personal dharma, or swadharma, the law of our own particular nature that shows us our special role and purpose in life. Yoga requires that we find the appropriate dharmic spiritual path and understand our place in the universal unfoldment of consciousness. Ayurveda states that health depends upon discovering our individual dharma and living in harmony with it. In this regard, the diet, medicine, life circumstances, and spiritual practices that may be dharmic for one person may not be right for another. This principle of swadharma underlies Ayurveda's emphasis upon constitutional types and individualized lifestyle regimens, and yoga's idea of an individualized or personalized practice. On this dharmic foundation, let us examine the spiritual, philosophical, and cosmological background behind these two great systems. Brahman, Supreme Reality. All dharmas are ultimately one in the Supreme Dharma, which is the unity of all existence. There is one absolute truth behind the universe, an eternal, infinite, and immutable reality called Brahman. Brahman means the vast, or that which carries everything, and is the basis of all dharmic principles. Brahman is the underlying substance of existence, both manifest and unmanifest, which is not material but spiritual. We all arise from Brahman, abide in it, and must eventually return to it. All the endless and innumerable universes are nothing but waves on the sea of this infinite being. Brahman is being, consciousness, bliss, Satchidananda. Being must be conscious because an unconscious being would be a mere thing, a circumscribed or limited object. It could have no independent existence, and hence no real being. Consciousness must be happy, or it would not want to exist. A miserable state of consciousness would naturally put an end to itself in the course of time. Therefore, these three factors are really one. We know Brahman, or absolute truth, only by becoming one with it.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?